All right, so good evening. Good evening and welcome back to JPCE, Watchdog News, Strategic Competition Exposed. So welcome back to Watchdog News. I'm Jared W Campbell, and as always, I'm here to explain the complexities of global power struggles so you can stay informed and also ahead of the curve. If you're new here, like, share, and subscribe because today's episode will connect the dots between one of the decade's most important think tank reports and unfolding global events. Strap in as we dive into the 2019 RAND report and its alignment with today's geopolitical landscape. By strategic competition, we mean nations' deliberate and calculated actions to gain advantage over their rivals in various military, economic, and political domains. So I'm Jared W Campbell. So I'm going to start bringing in a lot of my research into the current events. So we're going to start out by quickly going over the 2019 RAND report. I put together a detailed report. So as I shared the screen over, thank you all again for following. So like I said, I'm going to start bringing in a lot more of my research. Right? Whether it's Russia, Ukraine, to China, Taiwan, or even Israel. So here we go. So the 2019 RAND report, right? And it talked about overextending and unbalancing Russia, assessing the impact of costs and posing options. So the 2019 RAND report seems to be a strategic masterpiece, masterstroke. The 2019 RAND Corporation report talked about overextending and unbalancing Russia, right? Is a blueprint for strategic competition. That's what it is, against problem nations like Russia. Its purpose is to exploit Russia's vulnerabilities by applying pressure in key areas, forcing it to overextend itself economically and also politically. This Cold War era tactic has been revived, right, with modern adaptations to counter Russia's aggressive moves on the global stage. So some of my key findings within this report, it talked about Russia's vulnerabilities. So let's kind of look at those. So Russia's vulnerabilities, right? I'm going to read from my report, right? I'm just going to have the RAND report right here up on the screen, but I'm going to read from my report, right? So Russia's vulnerabilities is what it talked about. One of the key things that stuck out to me. It talked about Russia's economic dependence on energy exports, right? Talked about its aging population and demographic challenges. It talked about fragile political systems. Also, vulnerabilities to Western influence and sanctions. Some of the strategies that were explored through the RAND report talked about economic measures, expanding U.S. energy production and opposing sanctions to weaken Russia's financial backbone. Okay, talked about geopolitical actions, supporting countries like Ukraine to stretch Russian military resources. Let me say that again. It's using Ukraine to stretch Russian military resources. Okay? So in the report, links will always be in the description box. It talked about ideological moves, undermining Russia's global image and encouraging domestic dissent. Okay? Talked about military posture, deploying advanced weaponry, increasing NATO presence, and enhancing R&D for new technologies. Let's remind ourselves, right? This report came out 2019. Russia invaded Ukraine in what? 2022. Some of the risks that were highlighted in the report. The report underscored that these potentially effective strategies carry inherent risk, no doubt, right? These include the possibility of Russian retaliation, potential escalation, and unintended consequences, urging caution and pursuing strategic competition. Right? Now, let's talk about some current events, right? And let's compare it to the RAND report in action, right? So now let's tie in the 2019 RAND report to recent developments. These stories illustrate how theoretical strategies are being put into practice and the global ramifications of doing so. So as I share the screen back over, let's look at some articles. So the Financial Times, right, somewhere back in November, talked about Joe Biden allows Ukraine to strike Russia with U.S.-made long-range missiles. So U.S. long-range missiles in Ukraine. So the recent report, right, confirmed that the United States has authorized Ukraine to use American-supplied Army Tactical Missile Systems, ATACMS, to target what Russian territory. This marks a pivotal shift in U.S. policy and aligns with the RAND report's recommendation to exploit Russia's external vulnerabilities by providing lethal aid to Ukraine. Is Ukraine a member of NATO? No, it's not. Implications. By allowing Ukraine to strike Russian infrastructure, the U.S. forces Russia to divert military resources, increasing economic and logistical strain. However, as highlighted in the report, in the RAND report, and real-world events, the strategy also comes with escalation risk. All right. So, also, the U.S. has supplied a lot of weapons to Ukraine. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's talk about the Serbian president, right? So Serbia's energy maneuvers recently, right? So Serbia is ready to buy out key energy company co-owned by Russia president. So the Serbian president is navigating potential U.S. sanctions on the Serbian energy company, the NIS, right, which is co-owned by Russia's Gazprom, right? Gazprom. Serbia's decision to buy out Russian shares in the NIS reflects the economic warfare envisioned in the RAND report, where sanctions aim to diminish Russia's influence in critical sectors like energy. Connection to the RAND report? Well, there is. The sanctions echo the report's strategy of imposing economic costs on Russia by targeting its energy revenue streams. Yes, Serbia's move to preempt sanctions showcase the complexities of such financial measures. You don't have to talk much about this one, right? But the U.S. supplied a whole lot of weapons to Ukraine ahead of conflict with Russia. Interesting, isn't it? You just have to do a little bit of research, right? A little bit of research. An article that came out in Reuters. It's talking about Zelensky says Kiev security guarantees will only work if U.S. provides them. So Ukraine's demand for U.S. security guarantees. So Ukrainian President Zelensky has called for robust security guarantees from the United States, improvising their necessity to counter Russian aggression effectively. Zelensky also underscored NATO's membership as a critical goal. Okay, how does it align with the RAND report? This aligns with the report's advocacy for leveraging alliances to impose strategic costs on Russia. By bolstering Ukraine's defense capabilities, the U.S. ensures that Russia remains entangled in a costly conflict, stretching its resources and undermining its geopolitical ambitions. Escalation in the Black Sea and NATO response. Reports of NATO increasing its military exercises near Russia borders and strengthening its presence in the Black Sea region further reflect the RAND's report's recommendation to challenge Russian military posture and compel resource diversion. Risk and outcomes. While these measures enhance deterrence, they also heighten the risk of direct conflict, a concern promptly flagged in the RAND report. Interesting stuff, huh? Energy and sanctions. So energy sanctions and the EU oil cap. Okay. Despite European Union efforts to limit Russian oil revenues through price caps, Russia has managed to mitigate the impact of finding alternative markets and maintaining infrastructure. It also underscores the Iran report's observation about the difficulty of fully leveraging economic measures without global coordination. So some of the closing strategic lessons for the future, right? The Iran report, right? So the Iran report provides a striking framework for understanding today's global power plays. That's what I wrote. So theoretical at the time it was probably written, its strategies have become the basis for real-world actions to counter Russia. However, the outcomes also reflect the risks and limitations highlighted in the report. Escalation, unintended consequences, and adversaries' reliance make strategic competition a high-stakes game. As these strategies continue to unfold from Ukraine's battlefield to Serbia's energy policies, the geopolitical chessboard is as dynamic and dangerous as it's ever been before. The stakes are becoming very high, and the outcome is becoming uncertain. Whether these tactics will achieve their intended objectives or lead to unforeseen consequences remains to be seen. Right? Well, I'm going to start bringing a lot more of my research into the global events, what's happening. Spent a lot of time in research. Right? So thank you all again for following. And each video, I think I'm just going to, like I said, bring the research in, right? To help you all better understand what is happening in Russia, Ukraine, the conflict, even with the possibility of China invading Taiwan this year. Could happen. Done some research in that as well. And I've also done a lot of time in Israel, what's going on in Israel as well. But that's it for today, right? So that's it for today's episode of JPCE Watchdog News. Please like and share and subscribe if you found what I've done insightful. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Until next time, always stay vigilant and informed. Always stay vigilant and always well informed. Right? This is Jared Wesley Campbell. I'm signing off from JPCE Watchdog News. I love you all so much. Thank you again for following. Please like and share out these videos. I'm sure as I finally get going into my research, these videos will get better. I'm finally settled in now, right? I've had some bad days where I haven't felt so well, but good days are upon us. I love you all so much. Thank you all again for following. Please like and share. Thank you again so much. Have a blessed evening. I'm out.